Hey YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Sean Austin here again. Sean's Trainer Produced. Back with another homestead video for you guys. Well, as you saw from the intro, this week we opened our doors to secondary school from the Port of Spain area, Tranquility Secondary, and we had a good time, you know, exposing the youngsters to the different aspects of farming. We always take pleasure in mentoring the youth, you know, giving them a different perspective, showing them the different options to engage in agriculture as a business, you know. So it was fun, you know, to leave a few nuggets with them. Of course, you know, show them all the different animals, you know, and give them that varied exposure in education. So we want to say thanks to the teachers who reached out to us to bring the children, for having that vision, you know, to expose their students to alternative forms of employment and income earning. So guys, we're not going to be long today. It's a short video, just going to touch base, let you all know what's happening with the rabbits, and we have some information on some Christmas packages that we're going to be putting together. So stay tuned, we'll be back with more right after the intro. Okay guys, we're back. Well, you know what they say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. We don't have any apples, so a grapefruit will have to do. And this is from one of our trees here. Grapefruits are usually a bit sour, but these are actually quite sweet, you know, so I enjoy having one every now and then. We also have oranges. We have a lot of fruits here on the homestead. Well, of course, we have lots and lots of coconut trees. That's also a source of income, because a lot of companies purchase the coconuts from farmers to sell bottled coconut water. So coconut trees are something that we've planted a lot of over the years. We have, of course, tons of mangoes. We probably have about 20 different types of mangoes here on the farm, most of which I like. There are a few that I don't really like, but to each his own. We have lots of oranges, grapefruits, obviously, Portugals, guavas, many different varieties of bananas. Some are good for eating. A lot of them are ideal for feeding the animals. The birds love bananas, as well as the agoutis, you know, most of the animals. And of course, we have jamun, which I mentioned in previous videos. That grows more wild than anything else. We don't really have to sow those trees, and the seeds are spread by birds and other animals, so they're always popping up all over. In fact, we have to constantly cut down some to keep the land clear for cultivation. Otherwise, we'd have jamun trees throughout the entire farm, and there'd be land for nothing else. Of course, we have other fruits as well. Some of them may have different names in other islands or different parts of the world. We have pomsite. I believe it's called June plum in Jamaica and a couple other places. We have pomerac, cashew. Love cashews. Remember as a child, we made chow with cashews. The thing about cashews is that whenever you add any type of pepper to it, when you eat it, it always makes you sneeze. It's curious. Different types of cherries. We have the green, what we call sour cherry. It's used mostly in preserves and things like that because it's really sour. We also have the what we call cerise. It's a small purple fruit with lots of seeds in it. You usually roll them and soften them before you eat them. Of course, plums, we have the regular green and yellow plum. We also have the governor plum, which is a lot bigger, and they tend to get about reddish purple when they're ripe. Yeah, so lots and lots of fruits available on the farm and in this area in general. The thing is though that most of them are seasonal fruits, so you don't have any one of them for the entire year. Maybe with the exception of guavas, because guavas tend to bear throughout the entire year. But most of the fruits are seasonal, so while you have some, you won't have others at the same time. But you could always have a fruit at some point in time during the year, if that's, your thing. Some good vitamin C and all that good stuff. Okay, so, we are known mostly for rabbit farming, but this wasn't always a rabbit farm. This was originally a dairy cattle farm. Okay, yeah, so as a young boy growing up, I had to milk the cows and all of that good stuff. There were some of the chores around the farm. It's probably why I don't like milk anymore. But over the years, the farm has diversified. I mean, my uncles and my grandparents were the ones who ran the dairy farm. I was just a child growing up at the time, and as I got older, it wasn't really my thing. I think for me personally, I find dairy is a bit too demanding of your time, because once you have cows milking, they have to milk every day, at least twice a day, morning and evening. So it makes it really difficult to have a vacation or some days when you just don't have anything to do. Also, I wasn't really too impressed with the price given to farmers for milk production, so I started looking at other areas to venture into. So over the years, we would have done a small portion of pigs as well. We don't do pigs anymore because over the years we've moved more towards supplying the Muslim community with a lot of meat, and we have sought our halal certification. So we did away with the pigs some years ago. We only recently started looking at getting into sheep, and that's solely because I was looking at sustainability and some level of diversification on the farm, because I want to be able to grow most of what I eat with some variety. So without that, I'd be left to eat mostly rabbit meat, and rabbit meat is excellent, but I would like to eat other meats as well. We'll also be looking at going into some cows, but for meat purposes only, no dairy. Okay, because like I said, we grow a lot of corn, so most of the corn stalks are given to the dairy and beef production farmers in the area, as well as the sheep and goat farmers, to feed their livestock. So a lot of people look forward to our harvest time so that they could get the corn stalks to feed the animals. So it's easy for us to make that transition because we'll be able to hold back a significant portion of those stalks to feed our own livestock and then in turn feed ourselves. You know, so as it stands right now, we're looking at getting into beef. We have the sheep, so we're going to be producing lamb or mutton as the case may be. We have the ducks, so we'll be producing duck meat as well as duck eggs. We are getting into broilers. We already have layers, so we produce our own eggs. And of course we have the rabbits, so rabbit meat is a given. And last but not least, we also have the pigeons. We have the homers that are going to be used for little adventures, tossing, even racing from time to time. But we also have some birds that we breed primarily for meat. I know a lot of people have never eaten pigeon, but I like it. It's delicious, and I know in other parts of the world it's quite popular, you know, but in different cultures things vary a bit, so some people may or may not want to try it. But I think the only way you could say you don't like something is if you try it, you know, because you don't really know until you've actually tried it. So yeah. Okay, now as far as the rabbits are concerned, we produce mostly meat, and from time to time we do sell breeding stock. But breeding stock has never really been our primary focus. So we get a lot of requests for breeding stock, but like I said, that's not our primary market. So we have limited breeding stock from time to time, and when we do have, it's sold really quickly. But because of the demand, we're gonna start putting a bit more emphasis on providing more breeding stock, especially for persons who want to start off with some good, or at least some decent rabbits to get going with. Right? I have to apologize in advance, the rain just started, so you all may get a bit of noise. Yeah, so we're gonna be focusing a little more, not much more, but we're gonna put a little more emphasis on producing breeding stock. That's the New Zealand whites and the Californians. As far as our meat production is concerned, we're going to be shifting our focus a bit, and we're going to be focusing a lot more on composites, the tamuks and the tamuk composites. Okay, because what we've noticed for the last few years, and it was even more evident this year, is that during the hottest times of the year, we get a lower conception rate, and we also get smaller litters. We had a really high instance of buck sterility this year, and that's something that we are working on. We're going to keep you all up to date on that, but we have a plan to keep our bucks cool and help stave off that issue of sterility. So that's a separate project that we're going to be embarking on, Sean and I, and as soon as we get to that, we're going to keep you all updated. But I think we're going to begin that at the beginning of the new year 2024. But this year is almost done, so we're just focusing on closing out this year, and then next year, please God, we're going to start on those new projects early in the year before the really hot months come on. Yes, so I mentioned the composites. These are two composite box that we acquired. You know, we have our regular New Zealand and Cali box over here, but we are going to be putting a lot more emphasis on the composites. We also have some hybrids that we created by crossing the Flemish Giant box with the New Zealand and Calidos. So we have some hybrids here, different colors. Come along. Right? These are half Flemish giants. All of these here, these are youngsters. That guy in the back here. Yeah. So from these hybrids, we are going to keep a couple of the bucks. You know, we're going to give them a try as well, because we want to be able to do some comparisons between the New Zealand, the Calis, the composites, and the hybrid bucks across the board in terms of sperm count, sterility, willingness to breed, things like that. So we're going to be running a number of little trials throughout the year and some comparisons, and we're going to take you guys along on the journey, you know, to see how it goes, and it may or may not help you as well, or guide you to make decisions in terms of how you want to do your breeding. So I mentioned earlier that we're going to have some packages available. So to close off the year, we're going to be putting together some packages for sale. Yeah, we haven't completed the packages as yet, as well as we haven't completed the costing, but we know for sure that the packages are going to include a turkey, a smoked chicken, a rabbit ham, some eggs, and one or two other things that I haven't finalized as yet, but everything that was grown or produced right here on the farm and the extension farm that we have at another location. So all of it was produced by us, and we're going to be putting together some really nice packages for the Christmas period for persons who are interested in that little variety pack. Okay, so look out for that. Probably within the next couple of weeks, I'm going to finalize that and mention the packages and the cost and all of that. So stay tuned for that. I built a new pigeon loft just behind me here. This is going to be my fly loft, where I'm going to be flying all the youngsters that were bred here on the farm. Because if you're not familiar with pigeons, most pigeons are homers, meaning they tend to always remain or return to the area where they were born. So all of the pigeons that I bought or that were sponsored by other fanciers, they are basically prisoners here and just for the purpose of breeding. I can't release them because they're going to go back where they came from to the persons who would have given them to me. You know, so as it is right now, I'm just breeding the ones that I got, so that all the youngsters that are born here, to them this will be home. So now I'll be able to do some flying, because I know that 90 to 95% of the time they're going to return home, and we're going to have some fun with that. I have a lot of plans for that entire pigeon flying aspect, because to me it's a hobby to me. And I really like birds. We like animals in general, but I really like birds, and I especially like pigeons. So I'm going to be doing a lot of work on that, because I have a specific breeding program that I'm focusing on right now. I'll tell you all more about that in another video, because I can't go outside because the rain has begun falling heavily. So I'm going to wrap it up there, because I said it was going to be a short video, but I'm sure I've been rambling on for about half an hour now. So I'm going to leave it there for today, and I'm going to return to you all later in the week. More than likely you'll get a second video this week before next Monday. I'll keep you all up to date on what's going on with that. So again, on behalf of my business partner Sean McLean, Sean Austin, Sean's Rabbit Aquaponics Produce, signing out. And see you guys in the next video. Peace.